Welcome everybody to our event, the celebration of our Journal of Literature and Art, Controlled Chaos, yay! And a big thank you to the jazz quartet well, it's more than a quartet today, it's a jazz combo, led by Professor Joel Hayden, and a lot of his music students, so we really appreciate you being here. They provide the prelude to our big event. So thank you. So here we are. I am Lisa Ebert, and I'm an English professor here, and I am one of the advisors for the Jefferson College Writing Club. And we have this showcase every year. This year we have a new title. It is Canvas and Quill, or Quill and Canvas, we've gone both ways, a showcase of creative chaos. The title came about during COVID. So you might wonder, what's up with this title? Way back in 2019 when our club started, we hoped to have a journal in 2020, but we got shut down, as many schools did. We quit after spring break and it didn't happen. But when we came back, they were raring to go and they wanted to make a statement, and so that's our title, Controlled Chaos. Okay, so as I said, I wanted to welcome everybody here, all of the students, teachers, administrators, families, friends, artists, painters, writers, poets, musicians, all of you that have come together for this wonderful event. Making creative work often takes a village. I like to think about that. At the end of the day, we creators, we do create in solitude, but it really depends on a network of friends to provide the inspiration. And so our club helps create that inspiration. We have meetings monthly where we bring in our talent from on campus as well as off campus to give the writers and artists the inspiration that they need. Personally, I do way more writing when I'm with my students. In the spring, we produce the journal and I teach creative writing, and that's when I do a lot of my work. And the pieces that I put in here, I actually created in class with the students. So to me, the village, this is my village, the club, the students, and all of you, and I hope you feel like you're part of our village as well. Yeah, so I want to introduce our MCs today. I'm just here to say hello, and then we have two talented MCs who will guide the show. First, we have Professor Tim Bain. He is also in the English department, and he is the Writing Club co-advisor. And we have a student, Beth Lunn, who is the president of the JC Writing Club for 2 years running. So welcome, Beth. So you are in good hands with them, and I'm going to get out of the way and let them start the showcase.
Hello, everyone. Let's see if we got this. All right. So, I'm Tim Bain, English professor here, which includes Composition 1, Composition 2, and Film Appreciation. So, we're Beth and I are doing this co-MC thing, and we're going to read bios before people get up here to present. I'm going to attempt a few jokes. We'll see how that goes. If they're not funny, feel free to not laugh. How else will I learn? Guess I just start off with a little anecdote. We had a trivia a while back. We club trivia night. And we lost by 1 point. Really, really sad, disappointing. It's really sad that the thing we lost on near the end was what's the most published book of all time? Library, I know, we're embarrassing ourselves in front of the library. I thought the Bible, but we're such heathens. We went with Harry Potter. And that was not right. It's not right at all. So anyway, we lost to the aspiring educators, and we figured, okay, if we have to lose to anybody, the aspiring educators is, we didn't lose to the D&D people, all right? Okay, so I just wanted to give a few announcements to set things up and let you know how things are gonna go. After the event, club members, and honestly, if anybody wants to join us, I think it would be cool, we are going to meet at Tyrama in Festus, Missouri. So, yeah, just a little hangout after the Quill and Canvas show today. And also, we'll have copies on sale afterwards for $10, copies of the Controlled Chaos Journal, which, once again, Lisa and I copy edited the thing, and I think the club really cranked out a great product, great art, honestly. So I hope you all get a chance to check that out. And the club people really showed up for those editing sessions. We had really good turnouts for those, so this isn't something like we just threw together. It's really the club that did that. So some other notes. This is really just for presenters, you all getting up here. First of all, the mic situation. Lisa says it's good to have it like about 2 inches from your mouth and to speak into the mic, ideally, to be heard. When you're reading, it would be a good idea probably to go slow or to at least not go rapid fire. You want people to be able to hear what you're saying, so slow it down a little bit maybe. And if you need to set up the poem at all, if it's a poem, give us a little context, then that would probably be helpful. Sometimes you don't need to, but sometimes you do. So I think that covers the announcements portion of the my little notepad thing here. Not gotten an iPad yet. Probably will not. So I want to set up our first reader. Good person to start us off. This is Beth Lund, president of the Writing Club, and she has done a phenomenal job with it. Been happy to work with her, proud of the work she's done. And people really did write some great stuff in the bios, and of course, Beth's no exception, so I'll read what she said. Beth Lund is the president of the JC Writing Club. She is a mom, wife, and student, juggling life with a pen in one hand and a Monster energy drink in the other. She writes because she has to, because the words don't stop whispering. Sarcastic by nature, cryptic by choice, and always a little weird, she finds joy in crafting spooky short stories and poems that linger in the dark corners of your mind. Wit is her armor, writing is her weapon, and the eerie is her playground. Please give it up for Beth Lund.
Thank you, Professor Tim. I did not want to go first. Just want to tell you that. It's really rude, but here we are. The first poem I wrote is just creepy. There really is no backstory to it. It's just weird. So it's called Haunted, and if you want to read along, it's on page 100. Haunted houses aren't the problem. Haunted people are. Those who've become an empty reservoir, the vacant stare that plagues their eyes, stuck in the past that's long gone by. Memories that play across their minds like a film rolling on repeat. Distant events crash into them like waves, hollowed out like the inside of a dark cave. Traumas that torment them from deep within, imprisoned by their own skin, trapped in a physical purgatory, begging for the end of their story, stuck in a place where they can't be reached, behind impenetrable walls that can't be breached. Enter turmoil to wrestle, a depleted, empty vessel, like an abandoned church, barren inside, plaster falling down, calcified, dust collecting on a church pew, withering away as cut flowers do. Voices whispering in those still minds, echoing, trailing down the spine. Trapped between the sane and worn, all that's left is cracked and torn. Lingering laughter that can't escape, horrors that hang like once beautiful drapes. Fading faces and hollowed eyes, grappling for some type of reprise. Walls that can talk, clocks that stall, memories scratched along the hall. No way to escape, just stuck within, sanity that is long worn thin. Shadows crawling through the mind, wishing for the time to rewind. Thank you. The next one is not as creepy. It is kind of about how we should value ourselves and think of ourselves as masterpieces. So it's called Masterpiece, and it's on page 8 if you want to follow along. I am a masterpiece, painted uniquely. Mount me as an altarpiece, display me. I am vibrantly crafted, like a film to be seen, unveiled in a gallery for all to see. I am celestially orchestrated, place me in limelight, frame me in a window, shining bright. Present me as a sculpture, exquisitely bold. I am a story exposed, let the pages unfold. I am the art, I am the thought, I am an escort of wonder, divinely sought. I am the icon, I am the mosaic, both modern and ancient, almost archaic. I am the colors, I am the dance, a symphony flowing, I am the trance. Thank you. It's really hot up here. Oh my gosh, I'm nervous. Okay, the next one, we've had a pretty difficult year of 2025, and we ended up losing our friend, our dog. This one makes me really sad, sorry. And so that's what this is about. It's about grief. It's about the pain that you feel when you lose someone. It's on page 32 if you want to follow along. They never tell you when they leave. The hardest part is how you grieve. Not just the fact that they're gone away, but that their presence seemed to stay. They're in the faces of strangers everywhere, and traces lingering in the air. They're in letters left behind, inside photographs trapped in time. Their touch still clings to their things. Though time moves on, they do not fade. Their permanence was made. Though their life ended, they remain. Their essence is here, stained. Their absence rings a hollow sound. Memories pull from all around, scents that drift with no embrace. Yet they're imprinted all over the place. Feelings of whispers that are never heard, saying so much without saying a word. Grief doesn't fade, it holds fast and deep, a deafening love that will never find sleep. Thank you. This one is also not sad, so we'll bring it back up a little bit. It's called I Want to Be. It's on page 119, and it's all the things I just want to be. So, I want to be carelessly pretty. I want to be spontaneously happy. I want to be recklessly brave. I want to be impulsively in love. I want to be thoughtlessly kind. I want to be unwittingly clever. I want to be whimsically intimate. I want to be deliberately considerate. I want to be unpredictably ambitious. I want to be informally generous. I want to be indiscriminately passionate. I want to be daring, catalytic. I never want to be hesitant or held back by uncertainty. I never want to be indelicate or disregard divergency. I never want to strive for normalcy or fear complexity. I never want to be servile or uncontroversial. I never want to be fearful or afraid of any experience. I never want to be imperious or obnoxiously precarious. I want to be who I want to see, and I want to be irrevocably in love with me. And this next one is my last one. And it's about time, because it's long and it's hard, but then in hindsight, it was super short and it's all gone. So, a little sad, but not too sad. Time, page 115. The days are long and the weeks are tough, and the years keep stacking up. Things are lost and stuff gets rough, dreams postponed, hours drag, but the weeks roll past. Clocks ticking fast. Mondays blend with Tuesdays and all the days between, like an endless walkway where we forget what it all means. Our footsteps get heavy, chasing after borrowed sleep, but when the time is gone, memories are the only thing we keep. Desperately wishing for the clock to roll back, but it keeps moving on. When the days begin to blend, remember, it eventually ends. Thank you so much. There's a crazy lady in the front. If someone could escort her out, please, that would be great. I'm just kidding. Thank you, Mom. Our next reader is going to be Mace Nalick. I'm just going to read her bio really quickly, and then we can welcome her on stage. Mace Nalick, at a young age, didn't really know what they wanted to do when they got older. At first, they wanted to be a singer, then a fashion designer, then a therapist, and now they hope to be a famous author. Writing allows them full creative freedom and gives them a platform to express their passions and excitements about the ideas that stir through their head. All right, Mace, come on up.
Okay, I got it. Okay, hi. Like they said, I'm Mace Nalick. I've got 2 poems that I will be reading for you guys today. Just gotta find them super quick. All right, the first one is called The Place I Call Home, and it is on page 18 if you'd like to read along. I am from a nice house in the suburbs with yellow sidings, brick accents, and a red painted door stained in my memory. Kids would play baseball near the cul-de-sac. Teens would ride bikes up and down the 2 joining streets. My home is filled with kindness and love, a well-used rug in the center of the entry. The living room holds the excitement of Christmases long ago. The dining table holds crafts and projects that have been long forgotten. The kitchen holds messy counters, flour and lavender sprinkled throughout. These messy counters have been cleaned. The crafts and projects that held the space on the dining table have been thrown out. Christmas no longer holds the same excitement as it did all those years ago. Those kids no longer play baseball near the cul-de-sac. Those teens no longer ride bikes up and down the joining streets. Those kids can drive now. Those teens have families of their own. Maybe their kids will do the same in the place that they call home. I wrote that poem for a creative writing class, and we were supposed to be talking about where we're from, but not just in a physical sense, just being more emotionally connected with our home. So it tends to bring a lot of nostalgia to me whenever I read that poem. This next one is on page 21, and it is called A Timed Love. 7 hours. What would you do with that time? Go to school, sleep, hang out with friends, take a road trip? 7 hours. How many miles is that? 454. How do people do this? With work. 7 hours. That's how long I have to wait. How can you love each other through a screen? With our words. 7 hours. I can't wait any longer. I need him. Then go to him. I can't. He's too far for me to reach. 7 hours. Is this what it takes for me to be loved? But I love you. That's not the same kind. 7 hours. How much longer can I do this? How long has it been? 2 years of torturous distance. 7 hours. Is this it? Is my wait finally over? It's time to wake up. Time for reality. Will we meet again, my love? Thank you. That poem I wrote when I was in a long-distance relationship, and it took a lot of mental strain, but we made it work. So thank you for your time. Thank you.
All right, having fun. Our next presenter is just a great, committed member to the club. I had them in a class, and they wrote a great movie review, which was published last year, and some great poetry was submitted this year as well. So Delaney Olin loves writing poetry and nonfiction, listening to music, engaging in political theory and fashion. They plan to continue their studies in liberal arts with a concentration on English and writing when they transfer to Webster University for the 2025-2026 school year, and eventually hope to have their own poetry book. Here is Delaney Olin.
Hello. So this first one I wrote, it's quite a bit older than my other pieces in the journal. I wrote it about a year ago, right after seeing the movie I Saw the TV Glow, if there's any fans in the room. I was really moved by the movie, and I still really love it. And I submitted this because I feel like it may be even more relevant now than when I wrote it. So, TV Glow. I see it all around me. Friends, family, forcing and contorting themselves into these shapes, shattering and dulling themselves to fit into the square of societal expectation, the only way they get acceptance, respect, the ability to just exist, because who they should be fundamentally was pre-decided for them in our monochromatic, fixed-shaped society. I feel the weight of all my brothers, my sisters, my siblings forced to be someone other than themselves, how consuming it must be to suppress it even when their true colors are clawing out from beneath their chest and they are bleeding. I want a world of boundless, glowing, vibrant living. No limits, just being any color you'd like. I just realized I forgot to mention the page number. That was on page 116. There is an illustration there if you'd like to see it. This next one is called Earth on page 124. And if you've seen the back cover at all, there is a blurb of it on the back. I think, funnily, I came up with this one as I was leaving campus one day. I think I was thinking about death a lot around this time, and the trees just looked really pretty, and I just wanted to express my pagan appreciation for everything. So, Earth. Earth, through beautiful chance, gave me the opportunity to live, to feel pain, to fall in love again and again, to hold a deep sadness, to experience unequivocal joy, to witness man-made creations of music and art and feel them deep in my bones. I am ever grateful, Mother. To you I am affectionately indebted and blessed to return one day to all the things which gave me life in the first place. To become the very moss I touch on a Sunday walk and the trees which gaze down upon me is ultimate reality. This next one is called The Female Body on page 67. And this piece is kind of just about the horrors that are often feminine health and feminine experiences. I didn't know it, but at the time that I wrote this, I was going through very bad PMDD, and if you know about the condition, you know that it's so devastating on your well-being. So that was definitely a factor. But the female body. The female body, beautiful, full of horror, and I live and love in it. I purge and bleed it often. Terror lives inside of me, rather thrives in me, well-nourished, feasting on my insides. I can feel the gnawing all the time, never dies. As the moon pulls on my sanity like a tide, script spews from my fingertips, is the only way out. Okay, I've got one more. This last one is called Gone, 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 and it is on page 113. If you are a poetry nerd, you know that traditional forms can be often very hard to write in, and this poem was my first pantoum that actually turned out readable and not horrible. So, I found it very cathartic to write. So, gone, gone, gone. I hope you do not look for me in paintings, in trees, in the grass beneath your feet. I hope there is less softness. In paintings, in trees, I hope it doesn't feel as you remember. I hope there is less softness, and I hope you will never find me. I hope it doesn't feel as you remember. I hope your life is devoid of me, and I hope you will never find me. Void, nothing, gone. Thank you.
Thank you, Delaney. Our next reader is Michaela Vessels. Michaela lives in Herculaneum with her dad and her cat, Butter. She is currently earning her associates in criminal justice, and she works at Crystal Highlands Golf Course. This is her first time with publication, so please welcome Michaela. Come on up.
I will be reading one poem on page 111. It's called The Light That Called My Name. I stood up on the edge so thin, a war-torn heart, a storm within. The whispers told me, let it go, that life was nothing left to know. The weight was heavy, hope was weak, no strength to stand, no voice to speak. The world felt cold, the night so deep, a restless soul that longed for sleep. But in the silence, soft and near, a voice broke through my darkest fear. It wasn't loud, yet clear and bright, a spark of warmth, a beam of light. My child, hold on, don't be afraid. I know the price, the pain you've paid. I took your sorrow, bore your scars. I hold you close just as you are. And in that moment, breathe returned. A fire within began to burn. The chains that held me lost their hold as love replaced the lies they told. I stepped back from the bitter ledge and found my strength beyond the edge. For his arms I came to see that life was still a gift for me. Now hope is written in my days. My lips will ever sing his praise. For though I walked through death's dark door, his love made me live once more. Also, at the bottom of the poem, that is a self-portrait I made. Thank you.
Oh, I forgot one other announcement earlier. Those are my students here for extra credit. Yeah, you know about that. See me afterwards and sign my sheet, and you'll get that sweet 10 bonus points that you so well deserve. There he is. So, yeah, I've been grading papers lately. It's been fun. It's been fun. Checked with one of my students that it was okay that I read this quote. He actually wrote a really good essay on the yellow wallpaper, but this is just one of the, and I was like, can I read the, I liked your essay, but can I read this one sentence that wasn't great? He's like, sure. And yeah, it's just like, it's just one of those like reminders, proofread, folks. Here's the sentence. With her declining mental state, the yellow wallpaper in the room represents her declining mental state. What's wrong with that? I don't know. Kind of gave me a declining mental state as I was reading it, but our next reader is a great guy and again, former student, and he went and got all those snacks there for you today, so yeah, thank him for that. Yeah. This is Balin Burbridge, and he is an aspiring zoologist, but a lifelong nerd. He grew up in Iowa with bedtime stories of fire-breathing dragons and grumpy dwarves. Balin always wanted to write and share his passion for heroic stories. Balin Burbridge, everyone.
Sorry, a bit of a long walk. All right. How's it? Okay. I think this will work. Let's
So with my introduction, I'd just like to say thank you to both Professor Bain and Professor Ebert. They both have been a great inspiration for my poetry, and one of my works got in, I think it was called Lovely Flowers, which is on page 102, which I'll be reading 3 poems for you, but I'll do that one as the last one. I was recently watching one of my more favorite heroes, Daredevil, and I wrote a poem about it over the weekend, and then the second poem is about Robin Hood, which I admitted to the journal, but I didn't get in, sadly. But with that, I give you Dare to Punish. How do our sins shape us? Some think our sins define us. Some think we can define sin itself. But this shapes how we view evil. Some say there are evil actions. Some say there are evil people. We don't argue its existence. We argue for its punishment. How do we treat evil? Do we do it through righteous justice? Do we do it through vindictive punishment? Both distribute retribution. Both unequal. One shows mercy and a chance to sin again. One is final and is felt across people. We determine justice through judgment. We determine judgment through people. People determine how to punish. Some justify that death is too swift. Some justify that death prevents harm. Some like to play the devil. Some like to play the reaper. Both want the same thing. They wish to change the world. We all work for similar goals, but our differences stop us from working together. Whether you choose the skull or the horns, know that we all search for justice in life. All right. With the next poem, this one's a bit looser and a lot shorter, so I wanted to go on for long stretches, but this is called Merry Band of Misfits. I steal from the rich and give to the poor. I am the greatest shot in all the land. I am a legend, but so much more. You have heard my story. I do not bore. But my story in the end is not grand. I steal from the rich and give to the poor. You have surely seen my expansive lore, a story shared among the merry men. I am legend, but so much more. The people sing our tale with a roar of the villains that I apprehend. I steal from the rich and give to the poor. Though stealing is not what settles the score, there is a bigger goal to demand. We steal from the rich and give to the poor. We are legends, but so much more. That's it. And now I'll finish off with the actual poem that made it in. This is on page 102 if you wish to follow along. Just as a little context to this one, since I know I've been kind of doing this a little brief, I actually used my girlfriend as inspiration for this one, so I thought it was a very nice poem, and I was really happy to see that I got in. But this is Lovely Flowers. I love flowers. Flowers have beauty and grace. Flowers are gorgeous, but there is more to behold. The roots are firm with strength. The petals are colorful and bright. The leaves are velvety and soft. They come in all shapes and sizes. They carry all colors of the rainbow. Some seem happy, others are sad. But just the sight can make one glad. For they hold memories. Lovers once lost receive lilies. Overcame my struggle, I was given an oxlip. When the day was done, a Wedelia was found. Expecting more, they left an echium. Ready for the next, I got my rose. She gave them to me from a lovely garden. Even though my body does not like them, it is a lovely gift. With puffy eyes and a runny nose, I love flowers. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Balin. Our next reader is our very own Lisa Ebert. I could read her bio, but I just want to say that she's like super fantastic, and I like her. And she makes the Writers Club an experience, and I really appreciate all of her wisdom that she shares. So her actual bio says, Lisa Ebert is a co-advisor to JC Writers Club, as well as a teacher, writer, and digital media enthusiast who enjoys the way art connects people on deep levels. Her first publication was in 1996, long before many of you were born. Lisa.
Thank you. Listen to your Hey, we forgot to mention that all of our performers today agreed that our dress-up theme would be black and white or in costume. And we do have one person who's kind of in costume today. She'll come soon. All right. I am reading a poem and just a snippet of the story that I put in the book. The poem is on page 50, if you'd like to follow along. Earlier I said that I am inspired by my students, and so the persona poem is one of the types that's in our textbook in which you take on the personality of someone else. Most poetry is from an individual perspective, but sometimes it's fun to step out of your shoes. And this was inspired also because when I travel, I am a complete nerd, and wherever I go, I have to find the literary connection. So when I was in England, I went to a little tiny town way north of London called Haworth, which is near York, and that's where the Bronte sisters lived. So this is called Persona Poem. I am small and plain, I said, to make you think me safe, a whispering storyteller, afraid to use my own name. I am disarming, am I not? Yet I took the train to London to dispute a typo, and the men of the publishing house laughed, dismissed me as a maid. It took some balls, I kid you not, to show them who I was. Not Currer Bell as written, but Charlotte Bronte in flesh, of a woman, in fact. And boy howdy, was I the toast of the town that week. Mysterious writer from the north. And then I took the train back home to Haworth to quietly write some more. That was her only visit to London, and she wrote a lot of stuff. Her father was mad at her when he found out she was writing. I was like, what kind of thing is that for a woman to do? Okay, then the other thing I published is on page 103. At the bottom of the first long paragraph, there's a line that says the hug was going too far. And that was a prompt that was a hug that goes too far. And so my students who worked with me this semester saw me pre-writing on this, and so it's kind of fun to show them the finished work because they're all creating works as well. This is called Where He Once Was, and it's a ghost story. Where are you? It was Chris on the cell call. Chris was irritated. I'm totally on my way. Took a wrong turn. I'll be there in a jiffy, Tom said. In a jiffy. What the heck was wrong with him? Who said that anymore? He looked at Agnes there in front of him, her ancient, sweet smile so expectant. She reached her arms toward him for a hug. What could he do? Say no thanks? When she was close, he could smell the rose she held in one hand, and he could also smell her powdery old scent. He gently hugged her back and tried to withdraw, but she gripped him tighter. He was surprised at the strength in her soft, tiny arms. He was awkwardly bending toward her shortness, but his face stayed respectfully turned away. The hug was going too far. She spoke close in his ear, her voice whispery. Your grandma would be proud of you, Tommy. She'd be glad to see that you grew up to use the numbers that you loved so much. And then she released her hold on him. A warm spring breeze lifted his hair, caressed his neck. There were birds chirping and bees buzzing around the flowers. He mumbled some thanks, and he took the rose she held out to him. He looked at her rundown home, 3 stories, brick in the St. Louis fashion, with a small front garden and concrete pillars marking the yard's entry. Bursting flowers watched him, their scents beguiling, to be honest, overwhelming. A crabapple tree to one side of the garden created a stippled light over Agnes's papery features. All of it was dizzying. He held up the rose in a salute, and with a gentle nod, and he went back to his car parked at the curb. He'd never told her he was an accountant. He wasn't even sure why he went there. Chris had arranged a lunch work meeting on Cherokee Street, where you could find excellent Mexican food, and Tom thought he'd leave the house early for a drive around the old neighborhood. Tom had bad habits. His worst was that he had trouble leaving the house. It was not that he had social anxiety, because he didn't. He enjoyed social contact, especially once he was ensconced in a friendly group and the conversations were flowing. It was the leaving of the house, the displacement in going from one place to being in another, a new somewhere, as if it changed the atoms in his cells. He disliked the act of showering, dressing, walking out the door, the one place to somewhere else. There was the leaving of the comforting light in his Victorian apartment near Forest Park, in a different part of town, with a different light, a light that was somehow yellow and gentle, swirling about the high ceilings, displaying the tiny dust mites floating in the light beam like tiny crystals. And then there was the going, the arriving, and his problem with postponing it with his meandering, which Chris called passive-aggressive. So you will have to get the book to see who the ghost is. Thank you very much.
Hey, one of my pictures. So as I said, I teach film appreciation. If you have any movie recs, see me afterwards. Always looking for new movies to check out. And honestly, I did kind of want to go see Wicked. I just couldn't factor it in.
It was good, Tim.
I hear nothing but good things, and maybe they'll re-release it when part 2 comes out, and I'll do double feature. Maybe I'll go to one of those sing-along kind of things. That sounds fun. Snow White was also a big movie recently. Did you guys see that?
Nobody saw it.
Yeah, exactly. Disney's hurting people. You're killing cinema. No, it's I don't know what. I personally watched all the cartoons. I loved them, the animated ones. I never just needed to see any of them acted out by people, but real people. But they made it. And I guess part of the objection for some people was that they had a Latino actress playing the lead role. One of my students was even like, come on, it's like her name is Snow White. And I'm like, okay, but it's not Snow Caucasian. They came up with the thing within the movie saying that she was born during a snowstorm. And honestly, that works for me. I don't need any further. It's a movie, so I can go with that. So maybe I'll catch that someday, except no, because I hear it's hideous. Our next presenter is a colleague of mine, and her name is Gabrielle Everett, but we all call her Gabby. She's been a professor of history at Jefferson College since 2002. In some circles, she is currently known as Her Excellency Dagny Ingen Merchada, Territorial Baroness of Three Rivers, St. Louis area, in the Kingdom of Calontir of the Society of Creative Anachronism. And if you all don't know what that means, I feel sorry for you. But Professor Everett has had her photographs published in several SCA publications. Please give it up for Gabby Everett.
Hello. I figured I'd bling out a little bit this afternoon, like I do every Wednesday evening for our baronial meetings. First of all, I want to make it very clear. I am a very lucky amateur photographer who is surrounded by wonderful people in a wonderful hobby. The Society of Creative Anachronism, we recreate the Middle Ages. Officially, we cover roughly 600 to 1600, but there have been a few Romans roaming around. I've seen some Bronze Age folks as well. We've expanded beyond Western Europe to Russia, to the Middle East, and I have a really good friend over in Kansas City who is Middle Ages Native American. And we have some Mayans and some Aztecs. So we've gotten really kind of broad in our definition of the modern Middle Ages. We try to recreate the fun times, the best times, not the plague. And we do have most of the time modern plumbing and running water most of the time. Okay. We do a lot. We are an educational society. We are worldwide. We do have an official education designation. We're a 503c organization. We're more than just the Renaissance Fair. We don't have fairies and elves and dragons, but we do have all kinds of things. We have period cooking. We have a lot of children's activities. We have equestrian activities, music, dances, and in fact, we're planning an event in February already that is going to focus on dance as well as fighting. We do stele, we do rattan fighting, we do archery, we do crossbow, you name it, we do it, okay? And we have fun in the process. We study the Middle Ages, and we try to figure out how they did what they did, and then we try to do it. Sometimes using the period techniques and sometimes using power tools because it's so much easier. And sewing machines. So yeah, we do a little bit of everything. Our musicians research. Our children do arts and crafts as well as boffer fighting. And we make sure that they're very, very protected when they do that and wail on each other. We have a queen giving award to a child right here for her service to the barony and to the kingdom. This is a friend of mine who lives in Florida. He's a Landsknecht. This is period cooking that we have going on. This was in Memphis several months ago. And we just have a fantastic time. I am the territorial baroness of the Barony of Three Rivers in the Kingdom of Calontir, which is Missouri, Iowa, a smidge of Arkansas, Kansas, Nebraska, you name it, we are there, okay? And then we are one of about 16, 17 kingdoms scattered around the world. I represent the King and Queen of Calontir here in the St. Louis area. And I'm tired, but it's okay, it's fine. If you have any questions, I'll be hanging around afterward if you'd like to speak with me. Thank you.
Okay, our next speaker, forgive me if I mispronounce your name, is Alicia Hazel. Alicia is a Jefferson College freshman who was born and raised in Missouri. She is a proud Christian and hopes to use her art to show the beauty of creation the way that she sees it. She loves music and art in all forms and hopes to share the joy of life with everyone around her. Alicia?
But it's okay. It wasn't Elijah, so I'll take it. I've heard that one. Unfortunately, you only get me for one poem. The Ocean Waltz, you can find it on page 120. And I really did only write it because I wanted it as a reminder that it's okay to take a breath, look around, and remember that the world is a beautiful place. And it can be dark, but it's pretty too. So that's what this is. The moon she dances on the sea, though on the waves she's not so free as in the sky among the stars, but what a joy to us she'll be. Her light is broken by the cave of every rising, falling wave, that shift her shape, then shy away, and crash with light they seem to crave. The wind is her companion sweet, who sings along the ocean's beat. With soothing tone and gentle note, she makes the ocean waltz complete. I choose to sit outside tonight and get to watch to my delight the dance of moon and sea and wind, and find my mood a bit more bright. The moon she will the ocean tease, the ocean flips with practiced ease, and I am peaceful, being rocked within the cradle of the breeze. The dance my sole companion is, but company I hardly miss. I can return at any time, and so for now alone I'll sit.
Oh, yeah, having a good time. So, yeah, I teach, what am I teaching? Gen Z, is that what we're teaching? I don't know, it's hard to keep track of all the generations.
Teaching English.
Oh, yeah, you're right, two Gen Z. Yeah, I don't know, this whole thing where we do these generational warfare things, I think it's a little overdone. My one gripe with Gen Z students on this campus is when they park in the faculty parking. That's my, gotta walk a little extra further. I just think some of the cliches about them are just overstated, like they don't want to work, they're obsessed with their phones, always with their head in their phones, accidentally walking into brick walls because they're looking into their phones, and it happens to the best of us. But one shining example of this generation is Jacob Kurz. And again, very dedicated club member, showed up to the editing sessions, all the meetings, I think, and have him for film appreciation. Great addition to that class. And Jacob Kurz has been telling stories since he was 3 years old. He's an aspiring writer and cartoonist. Science fiction, fantasy, and dark comedy are his favorite subjects to read and write. This is his first publication. Come on up, Jacob.
Thank you. So I am going to be reading a short story. It's not going to be finished. That is on page 76, and this is a supernatural western, I would call it. So I was inspired by some rock and roll music I was listening to at the time. Henry's eyes were open and empty, the blood staining the log cabin he'd built with his own hands behind him. Em lay face down in the dirt amidst the wheat fields as the Kansas winds blew the blazing fire ever closer to the cabin. Dorothy knelt beside Henry, the tears on her face steaming from the heat. The fire twisted and parted around one man as he approached her, flanked by two larger figures who seemed small in his shadow. Lanky and pale, the man looked down at Dorothy and cocked his revolver, a cruel smile playing on his lips. Any last words before I pull the trigger? There's a break. Dorothy parted the doors of the saloon. Her entrance drew a number of suspicious stares. She supposed this crowd was not used to seeing a woman as a customer rather than a barmaid, let alone one dressed in a long overcoat and fedora. But Tombstone was a frontier town on the very edge fringes of civilization, so no uproar followed her wearing of pants instead of a dress, and after a moment, the bustle returned to normal. She approached the bar. The host, a rotund man with an overabundance of facial hair, gave her an appraising look. "What can I get you, miss?" he said in a genteel voice. "Whiskey," she answered, "and some information. Do you happen to know a man named Slash?" The bartender froze, looking nervously about to make sure no one else had heard. Leaning in, he whispered urgently, "Now what would a fine young woman like yourself want with a monster like Slash? He's bad news, yes, sir." Inwardly, Dorothy smiled in satisfaction. Outwardly, she affected her best naive country girl face and said, "Oh, I wouldn't know, mister. My brother, Henry Baum, sent me to ask around. Said he and Slash had a business arrangement with some farm he owns back in Kansas." "This ain't Kansas," the bartender said. "Here, everyone knows Slash is a man who will kill you as soon as look at you, sooner even. They say he made a bargain with hell itself a long time ago. They said that he can't die so long as he kills 100 men a year. Well, Lord knows I ain't superstitious, but if ever there was a man who could make me believe in such humbug, you tell your brother we don't know any more trouble, especially after that big shootout at the OK Corral last year." "Oh, it's just a little thing. Henry says he's got some money for him. If you see Slash, would you let him know that Henry will be waiting at the cemetery every night for this week for him?" Dorothy answered. The bartender gave her a long look. Dorothy blinked innocently. Finally, he said, "Tell your brother to be careful. Lord knows there's enough death in Tombstone as it is." Dorothy smiled sweetly at him. Dorothy waited in the gloom amidst the tombstones, resting against an old gnarled tree. As the gates parted, the wrought iron gates parted, she turned to watch. Slash was as lanky and thin as ever, dressed in a loose-fitting clothing with a battered top hat on his head, long red hair framing his gaunt face. Two burly men followed silently, stopping when he raised a hand. Hatred burned in Dorothy's heart and boiled her blood, but she held still. It was not time yet. Slash's eyes lighted upon Dorothy, though he seemed to be having trouble seeing her face. Still, a cruel smile twisted his lips. "I don't know who you are, but if you've wasted my time by calling me out here sending some girl invoking the name of a dead man, you're going to regret it." The two henchmen fanned out to the left and right as Dorothy stepped away from the tree to give Slash a better view, offering a mocking curtsy. I'm afraid you're mostly right. My brother will not be joining us. But you knew that since you killed him and his wife because our father wouldn't pay your protection fee. Slash smirked. I remember. I killed his sister, too, if I remember right, and old Francis Baum never troubled me again. What are you, the dead girl's twin? And what's the point of calling me out here unless you'd like to join him, he said, indicating the bruisers who now flanked Dorothy. Dorothy met his hateful gaze and answered with a smirk of her own. Not answering his first question, she said, I'm here to watch you be put in the ground. He laughed. Woman, no one can do that. There's power behind me that will never let me die, and all it cost me was a soul I've never missed. I've been here 500 years, and I'll be here 500 years after you are dead and gone. His eyes burned an unearthly red, as they had that day in Kansas. He signaled his men to move on her with a flick of his wrist. Dorothy held up a hand to stop the advancing thugs. I don't believe in that humbug, but I wouldn't come any closer to me. You see, Henry's death has made my other brother very angry, and he's here to end you all. The two enforcers startled and twisted to look for this unseen brother, but Slash frowned. Wait, Francis Baum only had one son. It was all the distraction Dorothy needed. The revolver she drew in her right hand fired 3 quick rounds into the first thug's stomach, chest, and throat, while the one in her left blew the second man's skull into pieces with a single shot. She spun and fired the last 3 bullets of the right pistol into Slash's torso, throwing it back. But he did not fall. I warned you, he snarled, as a hellish aura illuminating him as his own revolver came out. And if you want to hear the rest, you'll have to read the book. Thank you.
Okay, next up we have Mr. Tim Boehm here, and he already read his own bio, so I don't have anything to read now. Yes, you did. So this is Professor Boehm, and he's super great and cool, and he's really supportive of the Writers Club, and he's extremely helpful and wise, and I appreciate his friendship. So come on up here.
Yeah, that's right. My bio is just, here's the classes I'm teaching. It's funny. This whole experience reminds me, I had a colleague that I knew at SIUC, and she once said, she lives in Wisconsin, and she said, I would drive to St. Louis to if you were doing like a comedy set, I would drive to St. Louis to hear that. I was like, I don't think it's worth it, but feel free. Did we have my, oh yeah, here we go.
Scroll it.
Okay, well, I had 3 pictures and there we go, yeah. This is a Chinese restaurant that used to be in Hillsborough, and the title says it all, R.I.P., Happy China, a Chinese restaurant I enjoyed going to, and it's no longer with us, sadly. I know, yeah. A couple letters were burned out there. So, first poem I'm gonna read is from the book. It's on page 60. And I got a friend of mine here today whom the poem is about, our friendship. It's hanging out at the old Panera in Festus. So this is called Bread Company. We're at Panera. And what have we here? We got a guy with a metal leg, an old lady, a couple with a bemused baby. We are invited, or at least permitted, to lounge and loaf at our leisure. Tom and I hang out all day. Look, there's the couple canoodling. There's the young lady cleaning up. There's the fake fireplace that still warms. Everything on the menu is overpriced. But Tom and I see the extra dough spent as paying rent to gab for hours. No one asks you to leave. The laptop folks tap quietly away. Even the cleaning lady is unobtrusive. This is a kind of heaven, a respite from workaday bullshit. To eat and drink and talk with a good friend in this sacred space, open to commerce and community, and serving a killer pecan braid. So I got 2 more poems here. And by the way, after me, we have one other reader. And after that, we are going to have an open mic portion. So far, we've just had one person say they wanted to be on the docket or whatever for open mic. But if anybody else gets the urge, once we open it up, just, you just come on forward. Once our first reader has done her thing, you all can, whoever wants to come on up and read something is more than welcome. All right, so these other two poems are not in the book. This first one's called Today's Gift. It's another day, another gift. But what if you don't want the gift? What should you do with it? Everyone says you should appreciate life, says you can't throw it away. But what if you hate it? What if you hate yourself, your life, your past days and years? I don't know. I really don't. I have certainly not always thought of my own life as a gift, and many days were simply a trudging on, not knowing why I kept trudging. I have dreaded living. I have had my days poisoned, maybe by me, maybe by my mind, maybe by 1,000 bad choices. I don't know. I really don't. It's easy to say it gets better, but to that we say, when? And sometimes it doesn't, or it takes too fucking long. Still, when it does get better, if it does get better, you should prepare yourself for the possibility that you'll thank whoever, whatever, gave you the gift of life, a year, a day, a moment. And if you think it's just a cold, indifferent universe that finally warmed up to you, I'd say that's still worth giving thanks. Don't you? Or maybe you'll just thank yourself that you stuck around long enough to again feel love, wonder, hope, purpose. Either way, you are here, and I, for one, am glad of it. And this last poem, after a series of gloomy days, I was like, God, can I count on Mother Nature to give us a sunny day for my sunny day poem? And she came through. This is called Abundant Sunshine. Which do you want first, the good news or the bad news? There is today on a college campus in Missouri what meteorologists call abundant sunshine. This, we know, offers vitamin D, which makes you feel good, and cancer, which makes you feel bad. There will come a day, someday, when no one knows the meaning of words like cancer or heart disease, though it's hard to imagine the human heart, fragile thing, ever safe from all harm. Yes, the sunshine is abundant. So are my hopes for us all. Sometimes not. But I will accept the sun's rays today. May they light our way. And our final reader, no more comedy. You ever hear of prop comedy? Well, this is not comedy, but I do have a prop because our final reader wrote an actual book when she was in high school. And it's good. I have not gotten that far into it, but what I've read so far I like. It's a fantasy book called Through the Eyes of Five. And Emma Miller has been a great contributor to the club this year, and we just are just amazed at what she's contributed to the club and just been at the event. She's going to speak at the club celebration night tomorrow night, which I might have to drag myself to that just to see what she says. But it's in case anybody's interested, there is a celebration tomorrow night of the various clubs on campus, JC Navigators, again, D&D Club, all that, so, and us. So if you're into that, see me afterwards, I'll give you details. But Emma Miller is an author whose works often explore themes of identity, resistance, and political references. She attends Jefferson College with the intent on transferring to a university to pursue a career in political writing. She is a huge fan of George R.R. Martin and Osamu Dazai. Please welcome Emma Miller.
I have a book and an iPad because I can't seem to stop carrying too many things. So I'm going to be reading 4 poems, 2 of which from the book, and then 2 of which not in the book. The first two in the book are part of a collection of poems that I have deemed Erasing a People. They're about various events in history that have resulted in quite a large, drastic loss of human life. The first one I'll read is called April 24th, 1915, and it focuses on the Armenian genocide that occurred in Turkey. The desert quenches itself on swallowed voices and bones that cannot stay buried. It tells not of the death marching without footprints, of graves littering the dust. Bones you can find anywhere in Turkey, he said. The desert will keep his secret. A little context, they still deny that it ever happened. I don't know how you could do that personally, but you know. The second one is February 24th, 2022. This one is centered around Ukraine. Two men stand in an oval room. They wear great suits. One raises his hand, the other follows. The one whispers lies in white, blue, and red. The other echoes the same in red, white, and blue. But a third little man stands in the corner. His clothes are riddled with holes. Gunshots echo in his ears. He cannot catch their words. The truth is in blue and yellow. Those two, as well as the third one, are on page 73 and 74. But to lighten the mood, I have a poem that I wrote while quite frustrated with a person who was using AI to try and coax a bunch of people in a room to use AI. Okay. The title is called Professor. It's you. Do me a favor, go to YouTube, type in AI has, and you'll see stolen my job, no soul, or gone too far. It creates comics to emphasize itself, but it has no feeling. It promotes happiness through ignorance and destroys effort. Words I've spent a decade cultivating into precious stories that you'll never read are vomited onto a white pixel screen by an algorithm. What is the meaning behind that? What does that tell? That we as human beings are too lazy as to not even critique our own work? The first cave paintings were handprints. That's the thing that AI struggles with the most because they are so inherently human. There's that one. And the fourth one is, because I like to write things that are too long to go in books like these, it's a poem about how I like to write things that are too big to go in things like these. This one doesn't have a title. I have dreams of a place that is not real, one I crafted long ago. It's colder than our world, more bitter and cruel, but it will welcome me before my own kin. I have dreams of a place that is not real, one I write every night. I turn to it in times of turmoil, desperate to seek asylum in its starved and panicked borders. I have dreams of a place that is not real, one I know and love all the same, so I write it into pages to create for those who read it, just like me. And I was told I am to read the letter from the editor at the beginning of the book because I wrote it. So if you open your book to page 3, we have the introduction to our Controlled Chaos Journal. Dear reader, welcome to Controlled Chaos, a space between structure and spontaneity that just so happens to take the form of a journal. Literature doesn't always behave. It lives in tension between clarity and confusion, order and instinct, the plan and whatever actually happens when you sit down to write. In these pages, you'll find pieces that fit the mold and others that bend genre, ignore the endings, and let the weirdness breathe. The work in this year's edition walks the line between fiction and reality, painting pictures of life in 2025 with vivid color and potent language. This journal invites you to wander through noise, rhythm, sharp edges, and unexpected turns. And in the midst of all that, maybe you'll find something that hits a little too close to home, or floats just far enough to feel fantastical. Thank you for picking this up and stepping into the storm with us, and we're glad you are here.
All right, it's open mic time. Yeah. And Jacqueline, I don't know how to pronounce the last name, Longer, is our first reader here. Like I said, she's somebody we know about. If anybody else is interested, just get ready, scrawl your last few lines and get ready to come on up. But Jacqueline is a fine arts student who has found a passion for photography. She documents her life as a mother, wife, entrepreneur, and jiu-jitsu athlete. Here's Jacqueline.
I haven't met her.
Oh, okay.
Is Jacqueline here? Oh. Well, she did fabulous photos. This is her work. She works in black and white. I don't know what kind of film, but she sent us 3 pieces. So
All right.
maybe she couldn't make it.
Okay.
Okay, then, now it's an open mic.
Did anybody else want to come up for the old open mic? Oh, come on up, Grace. Former student. Don't have other bio info,
My
but
current student.
current student for Lisa. Give it up for Grace.
Hi, I'm Grace Overton. I'm a current student of Lisa's in creative writing. I have 3 poems, if it's okay. I actually wrote these for her class this semester. The first one, sorry, I'm very nervous. The first one is Flowers on Your Doorstep. Lisa knows all of these personally because she actually graded them. So, like I said, the title is Flowers on Your Doorstep. You deserve flowers on your doorstep and coffee in the morning. You deserve notes left on your dashboard and ice cream sundaes at 3 a.m. You deserve honesty every day and to be kissed every hour. You deserve to be reminded how beautiful you are, and if you let me, I'll show you every day. I promise. So I have 2 more, but I'm going to read the longest one first before I read the last one. This is You Never Thought You Would Make It, and there's a little backstory behind it. I wrote this right around New Year's Eve when my relationship was kind of falling apart. So this is You Never Thought You Would Make It. It was though you had blinked and suddenly the year was over. You had just been watching the countdown, sitting on your living room floor, wine bottles all around, laughing with the love of your life. Then you read the book you said you were always going to read, and you finally went to the opera and cried through the final act. You bought 7 new plants and promised you'd buy a new pair of shoes. Those old loafers were worn. You never did throw them out. Then the love of your life left, and for a while, it seemed like the world had stopped right alongside you, only it hadn't. The world carried on. And then winter came with snowdrops on windowsills and trees bearing it all, before spring returned, promising so many new things the way it always does. And there was someone new and beautiful, someone who gently took your hand and danced with you, whispered that there was moonlight in your eyes. You never thought you would make it. But you learned something that year. Life could be more than surviving. It could be lived. And this last one, it's called Homesick. It's kind of about heartbreak, but at the same time, it's just about how you find homes in certain people. They warn us not to make homes out of people. They say it will hurt too much while they're gone. But what are these beating hearts good for, if not to be a place for others to belong? My heart is a home with many rooms, with empty spaces for people to stay. And sometimes we are lucky and find ones who remain with us when they are away. I am forever making homes out of people, scattering bits of myself in the ones I trust. And yes, it's messy, but trust me, it's better than keeping them to yourself to collect dust. There are parts of others you need to take care of, and parts of yourself you need to give. And while missing these people is like being homesick, I think this is how we are meant to live. Because we all have certain people that for some reason feel like the safety of home. It's true that without them, you might feel lonely, but at least you aren't doing life alone. Thank you so much for listening, and that was my last poem.
Anybody else want to do some open mic performance? Oh, see a hand here, and we'll get to you. Come on up. Yeah.
This is a poem that I wrote for my dad. I was abused by my mom and he had saved me from her. She was a storm, all thunder and rage, a voice like breaking glass, hands that never held me right, only knew how to leave marks. I was small, too small to fight, to run, to understand why. Love should not feel like fear, why a mother should not be a monster. But then there was you. You lifted me from the wreckage, held me close, told me I was safe, that love was not meant to hurt, that I was more than the scars she left. You worked until your hands cracked, until your body begged for rest, but you never let me see your pain, only your smile, only your warmth. You were my shelter, my safe place, the quiet voice that sang me to sleep, the steady hands that never shook, the heart that beat louder than the past. And now when I look at you, I see a hero without a cape, a man who gave me everything, so his little girl could be free. I love you more than words can hold, more than time can take away, because when the world had me drowning, Dad, you were the one who pulled me out. Thank you.
Come on forward, Kate. Long walk.
This mic,
What?
about the mic, do you allow like journal entries or
What do you mean?
like for class?
We'll talk about that later. This next reader is Kate Longenecker, great student, Comp 1, Comp 2, and yeah, I'm just gonna let her do her thing.
I do have to tell you, my picture was submitted, it says Casey Longnecker underneath.
Oh no, really?
And not mine,
Oh,
but
okay.
that's
Well,
okay. And then I was just.
okay. Yeah.
I know, I was just looking at the board and I was like, oh, that's mine, because I was expecting Cassidy.
You can adjust that mic if necessary.
I'm kind of tiny. Okay, 1 second, I gotta find it. Okay, this is called The Weight of Our Almost, and I actually wrote it in my Comp 1 class with Bohm. If there's any truth, it lies when I'm with you. A quiet whisper in the silence of a love we never knew. You were all I wanted love to be, a dream I never sent. Letters written for a love that neither came nor went. Nothing makes my bones ache like the weight of our almost. A thread of hope, now broken, a love for forever a ghost. We were friends first, lovers second, and maybe that's what love must be. A dance of souls, of hearts and minds, unwritten, wild, and free. Two stars destined to collide, yet always losing the game.
Yeah, Kate has a sister named Cassidy, and we got a little turned around with the submissions there, but
So the road less traveled is Cassidy's.
Kate.
Kate's.
Yeah. All right. Any other readers? You, sir, white shirt, and then we'll, go on.
Alicia, you had your hand up too, right, Alicia?
Yeah,
Okay, so-
we'll get you next. Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Hello. I'm Justin Bradley. I apologize to the writing club for not letting you know I'd be here. Wasn't really planning on speaking, but I'm relatively new to campus in the area, so just trying to get out there. So here I am. So I wrote the poem Irish Goodbyes. It's on page 42. I wrote this for pretty much each stanza to be a different perspective. If you want to be a perspective from a different person each time or from the same person in different situations, you can kind of take it either way. So, this is Irish goodbyes. We are silently slipping unnoticed between the gently cracked door. Voices are muffled and mixed from the outside walls. Goodbye. Signing the letters that will leave them with more questions than answers, I packed the bags thoughtfully, asking what to leave behind. Goodbye. Her anticipated death came untimely into the present. Selfishly, I wish she would have waited for the final goodbye. Unknown to you, I dropped the old borrowed clothes into your mailbox. Wishing to keep your favorite t-shirt, I instead tell it goodbye. Did you not guess this would happen? This is how you left me, vacated. Aren't you the one who gave me this blood? This is how we say goodbye. If I regret our first greeting, do I owe you one last farewell? What more would you have said yourself other than a quiet goodbye? Thank you.
Alicia? All right, come on up, Alicia. Another club contributor, club member. So again, afterwards we are meeting at Tairama. I feel like we're open to whoever wants to show up. I don't know if we can pay for everyone, but want to come join us for a little fellowship. Yeah, we're just, once this is over, we're cruising to Tairama. All right, Alicia.
I wrote this one maybe a couple of years ago, and I revised it recently last fall. It's about a couple of people in specific, but maybe one will come to mind whenever you hear this. How do you fare in the clouds up there? Have you finally found the sun? You who walk the earth alone, seeking many, yet finding none. How do you do in the cloudless blue? Finally can you see someone misses you? Does it catch your eye, the starry sky? Quickly, quickly, moments passing by. Do the storms fade as you leave the shade? Cross paths like lightning strikes and bitter farewell bade. So how do you fare in the clouds up there? Have you finally found the sun?
Who's it about?
Someone who died.
Is it someone famous or someone personal?
Someone personal.
Oh, okay. I was trying to think of who that'd be.
Anybody else? Anybody else? All right, well, we really appreciate you all coming out, and if you want to get a copy of this journal, $10 in the back. We also have previous years. We wish we had all four previous. 1 year we've sold out of, what can I tell you? But there are 3 previous years, again, $10 a piece, and we haven't put out any junk so far, folks, so